eastern part and the southern part of our country.
Indeed, the transportation industry has experienced unprecedented turnaround in the past 7 years. For a critical sector that supports socio-economic growth, it's never been this good. Apart from equipping the National Inland Waterways Authority to provide navigable pathways for the movement of goods and services, stupendous amount of resources have also been committed into developing a functional rail transportation system. In addition to the Second Niger and Loco Oweto bridges, solid road networks that crisscross the country and connect the geopolitical zones have been constructed.
When the story of the Buhari administration is to be told, of course, we will talk about the Second Niger Bridge, we will talk about the Bodo Boni Bridge, we will talk about the Loco Oweto Bridge, we will talk about Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, we will talk about the new ultramodern airport in Lagos, the one in Kano, the one in Port Harcourt, we will talk about the new runway in Enugu, we will talk about so many things.
Just as the River Niger provides legitimate employment and sustenance for many families, construction activities at the new facility have also given jobs and livelihood to many people from the region. In addition to this legacy infrastructure, critical road projects and monuments are also being executed in the zone. Despite these huge investments, political detractors had actually tried to sell the false narrative of hatred and marginalization to some gullible natives of the area.
With the developmental strides that the president has taken to the south, it's not just the Second Niger Bridge. What about the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway, which the president made sure that rehabilitation of such road is completed? Other giant projects that the president has started and also completed in the southeast is an evidence that the president indeed does not hate the southeast.
Don't forget that time was when southeasterners, people of Igbo extraction, were controlling the levers of development. I'll give you an example. The deputy senate president from southeast, deputy speaker from southeast, chairman senate committee on works southeast, chairman house committee on works southeast, minister of finance and coordinating minister of the economy southeast, secretary to government of the federation southeast. And all through those periods, not 1 kilometer of our roads, federal roads, that were in terrible state, not 1 kilometer was addressed. And all these people I mentioned are from southeast. Now it took somebody else who is not from southeast to now address this infrastructural decay. Now face the reconstruction of these roads, this critical infrastructure. Just to mention a few of the things that this administration has done in the southeast. And if somebody goes back and says he hates southeast, how does he demonstrate hate?
This president bears malice to nobody. He has cared for the southeast as much as he cares for other parts of the country.
The Second Niger Bridge is an important national asset. Aside easing traffic on the old bridge, it is an inter-regional integrator with the capability of boosting economic activities and development in the southeast. Already, the people are beginning to tap into the huge investment opportunities that come with the bridge.
You know, our people, we are business people. We understand the dynamics and we take advantage of opportunities. It will bring a lot of development to the southeast, a lot. And even south, because the bridge is coming from Asaba to Onitsha and vice versa. So the development is not only for south, it's also for south.
Truly, when the story of the Muhammadu Buhari administration is told, the Second Niger Bridge will be recorded among its greatest achievements.
When President Buhari would have been done and is gone to have his due retirement, and the story is being told, What would never be forgotten will be his footprints on the sands of time in terms of infrastructure.
The human brain is the central computer that controls all the body's functions, working in alliance with the nervous system. And for the brain to function optimally, there is need for proper care, especially feeding. But what happens when we feed the brain with wrong substance? It gets negatively rewired. Why then are we increasingly abusing the brain with illicit drugs and substance? Even our children are affected. How did our society sink deep into it? Can we step out of this? Join the conversations on NTA Network this Wednesday, October 5th, 2022 at 9 a.m. We must nip it in the bud.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel. Live more.
NTA Tuesday Live, analytical, in-depth, educative and interactive on national issues accommodating all sides of opinions.
We as a people have understood that we have to fight corruption before it fights us back.
Poverty has a financial index, so it should be fought also with a financial weapon. Give it to the social investments program. It has been a very courageous battle.
Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop,
reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good
I must say that corruption in the education system, from basic level to tertiary level, has been undermining our investment in the sector.
Multi-dimensional approach to tackle corruption. Buhari sets targets through the educational front.
Oh, we're absolutely very hopeful. We had a good engagement. Very positive response.
Hope brightens for students as talks between Buhari and House of Reps leadership on ASU strike end with smiles.
Many fallen heroes in the course of these sacrifices, and they remain evergreen in our minds.
Plus, wives care for husbands in the military and police. Trauma Treatment Center project takes off in Abuja. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Henry John and we're live in Abuja. Adiola Komiokere joins me from Lagos. Thank you for joining us. And just to let you know that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. President Muhammadu Buhari has stated the federal government's commitment to building education systems that foster ethical and social responsible citizens that will actively contribute to the sustainable development goals. He, however, laments that this vision of education for sustainable development, backed by huge government investment, is continuously undermined by corruption and incessant strikes in the sector. The president stated this while declaring open the 4th National Summit on Domination Corruption. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
Organized by the ICPC, JAM, and the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the 4th National Summit on Diminishing Corruption in the Public Sector focuses on corruption and the education sector.
Certainly, there is no better time to discuss the state of education in Nigeria and the role of corruption than now, when the education sector is paradoxically playing a major role as enabler of corruption in Nigeria.
This government has done its best. It has fought the corruption that has been caught. But the corruption that has not been caught is there, imperceptibly creating havoc beneath the surface. Systemic corruption must be fought if Nigeria is to be liberated.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who participated in each of the previous summits targeting different aspects of his administration's commitment to fighting corruption, described as worrisome the manifestation of various forms of corruption in the education sector.
Incessant strikes, especially by unions in the tertiary education, often imply that the government is grossly underfunding education. But I must say that corruption in the education system, from basic level to tertiary level, has been undermining our investment in the sector. And those who go on prolonged strikes on flimsy reasons are no less complicit.
While giving the ICPC the go-ahead to investigate and prosecute all forms of corruption in the academic institutions, including sexual harassment, the president said government will continue to fund education within realistically available revenue.
Corruption in the expenditure of internally generated revenue of tertiary institutions is a matter that has strangely not received the attention of stakeholders in tertiary education, including unions. I call on stakeholders to demand accountability in the administration of academic institutions. Let me also implore the unions to work with government to put faces and identities to names on the payroll.
Former INEC chairman Professor Atairu Jega said although a lot has been done since 2015 by the anti-graft agencies to tackle corruption in the Nigerian public sector, a lot more still needs to be done.
Efforts need to be redoubled, lessons ought to have been learned, strategies need to be reviewed and re-strategized, and more sophisticated weapons in court need to be acquired and deployed to kill corruption.
Corruption has fought back in different ways. We have remained resolute on our mandate and our promise to Mr. President and the nation to do our best. We hereby renew that pledge.
And for refusing to be corrupted by rejecting a $200,000 bribe from a suspect under investigation, Daniel Ise Ama of the Nigeria Police backed the Public Service Integrity Award for 2022. Perseverance as well as sustained support to the agency in the discharge of its statutory mandate without let or hindrance. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The leadership of the House of Representatives has formally briefed President Muhammadu Buhari on the outcome of its strategic engagement with critical stakeholders over the prolonged industrial action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, who spoke to journalists after the closed-door meeting with the president, described it as fruitful and reassuring.
As you know, what's on the front burner today, even beyond the politics, is our universities, our lecturers, and our children who are out of school. And the House of Representatives, after a series of engagements with ASU and with people on the executive side, we've been able to come to some kind of decision on our part and recommendations to be made to the Mr. President for his approval, and that's why we're here.
So what are the takeaways after the meeting?
The Mr. President, as usual, had a very good listening ear, and he took the report of the House. He accepted it. We discussed it at length, the details of the report, and he wanted to go through them himself, and he will get back to us. We have another meeting on Thursday between our good selves and Mr. President for his final decision, and he wanted to digest the report in detail, and we won't know anything until Thursday or Friday.
So any hope?
Oh, we're absolutely very hopeful. We had a good engagement. Very positive response. He asked us a couple of questions in some gray areas, which we clarified, and he accepted the report, and he wanted a couple of days to go through it.
The Speaker of the House of Reps there. Meanwhile, the federal government has registered and presented approval letters to 2 more academic unions out of ASU. Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngege, says the approval is born out of the desire of the 2 Nigerian associations of medical and dental academics, NAMDA, and Congress of University Academics, CONWA, for freedom of association under the international labour law. Joseph Otsen reports.
These 2 associations, the Nigerian Association of Medical and Dental Academics and the Congress of University Academics, are said to have applied, seeking the establishment as unions between 2017 and 2019, both citing irreconcilable differences, dislocation of academic activities due to recurrent ASU strikes, welfare issues, and lack of accountability of ASU leadership.
Medicine and dentistry are very sensitive professions which require a well-programmed, uninterrupted, and hands-on training. It requires time and sufficient exposure, which, when lost, is difficult to replace.
We are giving the assurance that we will work to ensure that this country, Nigeria, is not traumatized again by academic union dislocations.
The committee is set up to look into the grievances of the academic lecturers, recommended the approval of the 2 unions back in 2019, but the government had to hold back due to COVID-19.
Let it be noted that Section 3, Subsection 2
of the Trade Union Act Cap T14, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, gives the Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment powers to regroup an existing trade union of workers or employers. They are not a legal union of workers with rights and privileges. And there is no discussion that will take place in any university academic environment for academic workers, of which there are members that will not involve them.
Dr. Chris Ngige revealed that salaries of members of the two unions are being paid as they are not part of the ongoing ASU strike. He urges vice chancellors of universities to open university gates for patriotic lecturers who want to teach. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
In other news, the federal government is according premium to security education and other options in dealing with emerging security threats in some part of the country. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said this at the 32nd convocation ceremony of the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna. Suleiman Rigachiko reports that some eminent Nigerians were also conferred with honorary doctorate degrees for their outstanding contribution to the growth of the academy.
With multidisciplinary structure and specialization in training the cadets and students choosing academic disciplines that cut across undergraduate and postgraduate levels, Nigerian Defense Academy has continued to advance the frontiers of knowledge in defense and strategic studies, producing the required manpower for national defense and security. The second combined convocation saw the conferment of first degrees on 239 graduating cadets, postgraduate degrees on 1,654 students, including former Chief of the Army Staff, Major General Alwali Kazir, conferred with honorary degree of military science.
Beyond the current standing of the academy, we have begun to explore modern and evolving technologies and articulating academic strategic action plan to reposition this institution as a paramount military university in Africa.
Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo acknowledged the effort by the Nigerian Defense Academy as a pace-setter in scholarship and incubator of sound ideas, describing the convocation as a celebration of superiority of excellence. He expressed confidence that the reviewed training curriculum of the institution has prepared the graduating cadets for the dynamics of modern warfare and strategic response to emerging security threats. Those honored pledged to do more for the academy and the nation. The convocation is a culmination of activities prelude to the presidential commissioning of the 69 regular tri-service cadets of the Nigerian Defense Academy. Suleiman Rigachikun, NTA News.
In agriculture, the drive of the federal government towards ensuring food sufficiency and creating millions of jobs is receiving a boost as Pand Agric Novum Limited, in partnership with NSIA and Signature Agri Investment, has inaugurated a multi-billion agri-business company in Panda, Karu local government area, Nasarawa State. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, while inaugurating the project, said much was achieved in the agricultural sector of the economy in line with the vision of the Buhari-led administration. Christy Ayagwa reports.
By the commitment to key into the federal government's vision of ensuring food security and sufficiency, the Pandagri Novon Limited has so far invested massively in the agricultural value chain through a sustainable production of quality feed known as the Supreme Feeds. With this state-of-the-art facility, the company that has size of 12,000 hectares of land engages 500 local farmers who are mostly youths, which will consequently produce 12,000 metric tons of animal feeds monthly.
A company born to further this to be a catalyst for change in agriculture and the #1 choice producer of feeds and foods in Nigeria.
Together with our shareholder, All Mutual Investment Group, we are proud and honored to have such a strong partnership with NTA.
And the dedication shown by our partners, particularly our partners from Holland, is something
really amazing.
Vice President commended the efforts of the Pandagric Novon Company and its investment partners for keying into the President Muhammadu Buhari's agricultural vision.
Considering the immense economic impact, essentially it is among the top two key pillars of the industrial revolution that we have embarked upon.
And this is the kind of project that we should continue to invest in and replicate in several parts of the country so that more of the communities that we've seen today here are engaged in productive farming.
The supreme feeds and other value chain commodities produced by Pandagric Novum Limited, the market capitalization will grow higher and bridge the demand gap in animal feed in the country. Christy Ayagwa, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. Time for a break. Please stay.
Your line blocked? Then move to Glow.
And experience extraordinary value with Bracketed times 10.
Simple.
Get 10 times for every airtime recharge. Up to double your data and free 1,000 Naira welcome credit.
And it's for new and existing Glow customers.
10 times the value of every recharge you make. Get it only on Glow. Dial *777# or get a Glow SIM today with Glow Bracketed times 10.
Thank you, Glow.
Nothing should divide us. Nothing can divide us. And absolutely nothing will divide us. In our togetherness lies our strength. Our diverse nature beautifies us. Yes, we may not agree socially, politically, and culturally. Not even our ideological, religious, or ethnic differences should lead to bloodshed. Let us draw and live from the painful reality of our recent history and give dialogue and negotiation a chance. Let us support our gallant men and women of the armed forces, symbol of our national unity. The one people we are, have been, and always will be. Nigeria is my country, your country, our country. Let us keep her together in peace and unity.
It's been a long day, and nothing could feel better than sleeping comfortably. So relax, you won't be bothered by leakage or irritation tonight. Huggies Dry Comfort has a super fast dry layer that quickly absorbs wetness for all night dryness and comfort. So baby can wake up comfy and dry as the night before. And you keep doing great, Mom.
Now in a new look pack.
They say nothing good comes easy, but with determination and sheer focus, Boa Foods finds new ways to put food on many plates. We produce competitively priced sugar, flour and pasta that are highly sought after by our corporate and trade partners. At Boa Foods, we remain committed to lead with purpose and make a difference by embracing the responsibility to meet Africa's growing food demand. We dare to lead, so can you. Boa Foods, nourishing lives.
The Zenith Better Life promo is back, and it's bigger and better. You could be one of 20 lucky customers to win 150,000 Naira every 2 weeks from now till January 31st, 2023. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account and maintain a minimum balance of 5,000 Naira. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
See the boss spray with another banger. This one now better 10 times. 10 times of Africa the 27 you research. You got to double your data recharge. It's for new and existing Glow customers. New customers go get extra 1,000 bonus credits. So get your new Glow SIM today. That's a 777.
Lar lived well and he lives on in several hearts and minds as one enduring public figure.
My leader distinguished himself in standing up to the tyranny.
He truly was a man of the people.
Lar once lived in Nigeria. Public presentation of the autobiography of Chief Solomon Lar, Chronicles of the Rainbow, and the launch of the Solomon Lar Leadership Institute. Date 6 October 2022. Time 10:30 a.m. Venue NAV Conference Center, Kado, Abuja.
Very special guest of honor, President Muhammadu Buhari, chairman of the event, former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, fathers of the day, General Yakubu Gowon, President Olusegun Obasanjo, President Ibrahim Babangida, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, mothers of the day, Her Excellency Mrs. Jewel Howard Taylor, Vice President, Republic of Liberia, and Zungo Dr. Sarah Dockery. Distinguished guests, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Mr. Peter Obi. Chief launchers, General T.Y. Danjuma, Mr. Anthony Elumelu, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, and Gumo Lulu Briggs, as well as all state governors and ministers of the FCT. Announcer, Dr. Mike Omeri, OFR, Planning Committee.
Thank you for staying. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Aminu Umar Sadiq as the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority. Also appointed are Kolawole Owoduni and Mrs. Bisi Makoju as Executive Directors. The appointees are also expected to help steer and transform the investment and infrastructure industry. Now heading to the National Assembly. President Muhammadu Buhari is to present the 2023 Appropriation Bill to the joint session of the National Assembly on Friday, the 7th of October, 2022. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that the presidential letter was read on the floor of both chambers at Tuesday's plenary.
Letter from Mr. President.
Tuesday's plenary took off with President of the Senate Ahmad Lawan reading the letter from President Muhammadu Buhari notifying them of the scheduled presentation of the 2023 budget to the joint session of the National Assembly on Friday this week.
May I crave the kind indulgence of the distinguished Senate to grant me the slot of 10 hours on Friday, that's 10 a.m. on Friday, 7th October 2022, to formally present the 2023 Appropriation Bill to the joint session of the National Assembly.
The House of Representatives also received the notification.
Friday was the only available day, otherwise it would have to be the following week, which takes us into the 14th, 15th, 16th, and that cuts into our time into looking at and scrutinizing the budget. So we suggested, it was actually the National Assembly that suggested Friday the 7th of October.
The only motion on the order paper came from Senator Bio Barakuma Degere, which drew the attention of the Senate to the urgent need to reclaim and protect shorelines at Anyama, Tuon Bras, Odiama, and Sangana communities in Bayelsa East Senatorial districts devastated by coastal erosion.
Urge NEMA to provide some relief materials to Anyama, Odiama, Tuon Bras, and Sangana communities.
Senators acknowledged the nomination of some of its members for national awards, describing it as a recognition of the achievements of the Ninth Senate by President Muhammadu Buhari.
The momentum with which we have been doing our work will not be slowed down. We will continue up to the end.
Senate resolved that the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited pay a sum of 18.3 billion naira to 34 communities and individuals in Rivers State yet to be compensated for acquiring their lands to pipelines right of way. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, in the Green Chamber, a resolution to conduct an investigation into the incessant collapse of Nigeria's electricity grid has been passed. National Assembly correspondent Lamiale reports that the issue was raised as a matter of urgent public importance by Representative Sani Bala during plenary.
The state of power generation and distribution, according to the lawmakers, has been a poor narrative since the privatization of the sector in 2013. Representative Sani Bala said the national grid experienced more than 100 collapses since then. In 2022, the national grid collapsed 7 times. This development, whereby all key power generating plants experience a shutdown at once, they say, calls for concern.
The issue of system collapse may not be unconnected with the transmission companies of Nigeria's lack of wheeling capacity, inadequate transmission lines and spinning reserves, as well as refusal to fast-track construction of digital control centers instead of the company's current analog system.
The essence of this investigation should go to finding what we can do as a country to cure the issues of power generation, transmission and distribution.
The House Committee on Power is to conduct the investigation. 2 other motions urging the rehabilitation and reconstruction of damaged roads in parts of Kogi and Delta State were adopted. Bill to establish a Federal Medical Center, Uromi, Edo State, sponsored by Sergius Ugu. Bill to amend National Emergency Management Agency Act from Henry Wauba, and bill to enact the Notaries Public from Ugonna Uzuribu passed second reading.
To provide for the appointment of Notaries Public, their registration, and to regulate the duty of the Office of the Notary Public, and to make provisions for the performance of the digital and remote notarization of documents.
Meanwhile, management staff of the Institute of Social Work in Nigeria were at the National Assembly to express appreciation over the passage and signing into law of the Act, thus giving legal backing to the Institute, which has been in existence for more than 10 years. The Act will further streamline operations of social workers. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And away from the National Assembly now, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, has reaffirmed her determination to continue to support all initiatives of the spouses of the Nigerian Armed Forces Associations towards bringing succor to their members. The First Lady gave the assurance during the groundbreaking ceremony of the Armed Forces Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Center, a project initiated by the President of the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, the POA, and the wife of the Chief of Defense Staff, Victoria Irabo. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
With addressing a mental health condition, the post-traumatic stress disorder PTSD triggered by terrifying and frightening activities experienced by the frontline officers and men of the Nigerian Armed Forces and other security agencies, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, has commended the President of the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DPOA, and the wife of the Chief of Defense Staff, Victoria Irabo, for her initiatives of establishing the PTSD Center in Abuja. Performing the groundbreaking ceremony, the First Lady expressed optimism that the center will go a long way towards improving the general well-being of the military families, taking into cognizance the challenges associated with the PTSD for the military and the nation as a whole. Mrs. Buhari used the opportunity to express gratitude to the members of the armed forces for their selfless service to the nation.
Many fallen heroes in the course of these sacrifices, and they remain evergreen in our minds. Many others are either wounded physically or mentally. I want to appreciate them, their wives, their families, and all of them in this cycle of despair, and we want to let them know that the whole nation is with them. I thank the POA once again for this initiative and the military establishment for supporting them. I call on them to ensure that this center provides quality and sustained care to soldiers that suffered from PTSD. Mrs. Irabo, it's no longer your project. It's my project and the project of Mr. President.
The First Lady assured the President of the POA of our full support towards the actualization of this dream, emphasizing the need for the government at all levels and other relevant stakeholders to support the project for the overall development of Nigeria. In Abuja, Aliyu Kabir, NTA News.
In other news, Nigeria and Saudi governments have reaffirmed their resolve to strengthen trade and investments in accelerating reforms and sustaining the economic fortunes of the two countries. Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Zubairu Dada, gave this assurance at the second session of the Nigeria-Saudi Joint Committee meeting in Abuja. Garba Muhammad Nata'ala reports.
In solidarity by the Saudi government in joining Nigeria to celebrate her 62nd Independence Day, which coincided with the second session of the Joint Committee meeting, the mutual cooperation between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia has stood the test of time dating back to history. To this end, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Zubairu Dada emphasized on the mutual interest of both parties, that states working closely in sustaining priority sectors of Nigeria and the Saudi Kingdom for a prosperous future.
Call on our senior officials and experts of both countries to kindly note that as they proceed with the important task of negotiation of the various MOUs and agreements, they should adopt a spirit of cooperation and flexibility with a view to concluding and signing these long-delayed agreements and MOUs.
Saudi Arabian Deputy Minister of Environment, Water and Agriculture for Fisheries, Ahmed Al-Kamishi, says many opportunities abound for cooperation, including trade, investment, technology, arts and culture.
Therefore, for this reason, we give priority to the leading participation of the private sector in both countries.
At the end of the two-day meeting, delegates are expected to fashion out modalities to further implement strategies emanating from the drawn-up agreements. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Nata'ala, NTA News.
We'll pause here in Abuja and let Adiola feed us with more news from Lagos. Adiola, it's over to you.
Thank you, Nyere. Now, exposing students to the rudiment of computer and coding from elementary school to higher institution is an avenue experts have devised to improve technological advancement in today's changing world. In this report, Hingino John Adams tells us the gains of impacting computer knowledge on the younger generation.
It is a technology-driven world, from workspaces to schools. As well as every aspect of human endeavor, technology has taken the lead. Even children are feeling the impact through computer games and many others. As technology evolves, introducing children to its dynamism through coding is important.
One thing that coding will do to a kid is that it's going to teach them how to think. Right, they're able to think rationally. Putting coding into school as a liberal arts means that you're going to build every child's ability to be a part of solving the hardest problems in both Nigeria and Africa at large.
Experts believe that computer programming is the future, and going by the saying, children are the future, the clamor for catching them young, they say, is timely, as the positives are numerous to mention.
It's the language of the future. So it's important that children should learn it.
We really need them to grow, to know how to develop these apps, to know how to develop this technology. They play with games, We need them to come up from the stage of, for them playing those games. We want them to be developers of these games.
Giving every child, irrespective of social class and geographical location, the opportunity to explore coding and computer science, key players say will bring out hidden talents in the country. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Now let's talk about safe water transportation. Navigating the inland waterways most times is a Herculean task for boat operators owing to setbacks suffered as a result of uncleared wrecks. Recent efforts by regulators in the industry are however geared towards ridding the sector of these wrecks to reduce boat mishaps. Abolade Salami reports.
This is the daily means of transportation for some people in Lagos. They set out every day with the hope of having a fruitful day and return home after the day's work to rest. But not everyone makes it, after all, owing to accidents on water. A sizable number of these accidents has been linked to wrecks. This has posed great threats to maritime activities across the country's waterways.
Wrecks have been causing so much damage our engines, the boats as well. So much has been affecting our jobs because there are some wrecks at these our places as well.
The statistics of how much wrecks are located in Nigerian waters is not exactly known because as they are removed, new ones are discovered.
But it is much easier for us to navigate now. Very well, not like before that there are restricted area that we can navigate through. But now since the wreck has been removed, it has helped us a lot and very much.
In the meantime, National Inland Waterways Authority NIWA says efforts are on to ensure safety as wrecks are being located and removal is imminent.
From our statistics, we have seen that human error and wrecks are mostly the major reasons why our boats capsize. So that's why when we have tackled the human error by introducing training for our captains, we feel it is necessary for the authority to also remove all these wrecks that is causing menace.
Aside the security threats and navigational challenges, there are staggering realities of loss of lives and revenue due to boat mishaps caused by wrecks. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Lagos. Be reminded that you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.nj/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screens for updates. The news will continue after this time out. To stay with us.
Efficiency and quality. National Center for Women Development. Home away from home. With our newly renovated rooms and conference facilities, the facility has standard, single, and double rooms. We are second to none in Abuja and uncomparable to none. We also have a standby power source. Visit us today at the National Center for Women Development, Central District Area, opposite Central Bank of Nigeria Headquarters, Abuja, or telephone 070-511-1163, or visit our website www.ncwd.gov.ng. National Center for Women Development, rebranding, restructuring, and repositioning.
You're always running around. Keeping up with you needs a comforting touch from Huggies with the right stretch for how much you move. Huggies pants comfortably fit baby's tummy. Their 360-degree comfort fit waistband makes them easy to open and pull off and on, so baby can keep on exploring and you keep doing great, Mom.
Now in a new look pack. EcoNafest 2022, Nigeria's biggest cultural festival, the festival that unites the nation. Date, 7th to 13th November 2022 at the National Stadium and the Teslim Balogun Stadium, Lagos. For sponsorship and support, please call Ade 0813-415-4562, Aking 0803-067-5818, Carlo 0803-544-7776. NAFEST, using culture to unite the nation. Chairman, National Festival Planning Committee, announcer.
Good morning, Nigeria. Year after year, they have been taught, educated, and entertained of. When you needed information, knowledge, or an escape.
From generation to generation, the Nigerian broadcasting industry has worked tirelessly to serve you.
And now, this service will finally be recognized.
Right? This November, broadcasters all over Nigeria will gather for the maiden edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards, an award ceremony set to reward hard work and unflinching excellence in the broadcast media. They've served and are still serving. It's time to say thank you. This award is organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BON. For more details, log on to www.tnawards.ng and follow social media handles at TNP Awards.
Welcome back. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has progressed to a new performance level with a declaration of 674 billion naira profit after tax in its 2021 financial report. Group Chief Executive Officer Mele Kyari says NNPC Limited is poised to become a dynamic global energy company of choice to her customers and partners. Lydia Sampson reports.
In line with the resolve to sustainably entrench transparency, accountability and performance excellence, the NNPC Limited in 2019 rolled out deliberate policies and initiatives reducing operational costs in addition to adoption of technology. Following these efforts, the Group Chief Executive Officer Mele Kyari says the company has recorded significant improvement in their financial performance in the last 3 years.
I'm happy to announce that the Board of the NNPC Limited has approved the 2021 audited financial statements, and the NNPC has progressed to a new performance level from 287 billion naira profit in 2020 to a 674 billion naira profit after tax in the year 2021, climbing higher by 134.8% profit growth.
The breakdown revealed that the group financial position recorded an increase in total assets from 15.86 trillion naira in 2020 to 16.27 trillion in 2021. Total liabilities decreased by 8.3%, that is from 14.68 trillion in 2020 to 13.46 trillion in 2021. Despite challenging operating environment occasioned by crude oil theft and vandalism of infrastructure, the optimism is high that NNPC Limited has the potential to sustainably deliver better value to its over 200 million shareholders. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, has restated its commitments to the continuous engagement of key players in drafting regulations for the sustainable development of the downstream and the midstream. The Commission's second engagement is to deliberate on midstream and downstream safety regulation and petroleum measurement regulations. The Executive Director, Distribution Systems, Storage and Retailing Infrastructure, NMDPRA, Ogugbo Okoha, who represented the Chief Executive, says the authority is committed to proactively repositioning the downstream and midstream through people-oriented engagements.
We would like the feedbacks to add value to the draft and to make it richer. It's the authority's objective that we must be guided by the collaboration that we have with the operators in the markets. So we actually consider as very important the feedbacks we'll receive from operators within the industry.
Having input through engagement of stakeholders is a cardinal stipulation and requirement of PRA for the authority as a regulator. Now, Nigeria is playing host to the Africa Regional Committee of the International Association of Deposit Insurers, AID, with a focus on ensuring financial stability on the continent. Leah Katung today reports that the AID Africa Regional Committee workshop is a meeting point for knowledge sharing and collective approach between participants to solving financial concerns on the continent.
Economies globally are stressed and are still recovering from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic and the spillover effect of the Russia-Ukraine war. For policymakers, the fabric of the global financial stability is constantly being threatened by this crisis, making the last 3 years quite turbulent.
In times of crisis like the ones that we have been facing, it is important that the financial services of our countries remain healthy, and the regulators have a responsibility to protect depositors' funds.
So in the next 2-3 days, deposit insurers are going to brainstorm
on how they can effectively contribute towards ensuring the stability of the financial system across the globe.
It is the 20th anniversary of the International Association of Deposit Insurers, IADI, and gathered here are participants of the Africa Regional Committee.
We need to keep working through forums like the IADI and other collaborating agencies to share experiences, strengthen our supervisory tools, monitor the effectiveness of insured institutions' contingency planning and crisis management framework.
This edition is tagged Normality in Turbulent Periods, the stabilizing role of deposit insurance.
The CBN and the NIC represent key components of the Nigerian financial safety net arrangement. That partly explains the reason we have been able to successfully resolve the series of financial crises that confronted our country with indeed satisfying results.
The mission of IADI is to contribute to the enhancement of deposit insurance effectiveness by promoting guidance and international cooperation.
Financial stability is so key to every economy's success that we cannot take this for granted, and we all have to work together assiduously to ensure that we play our part in providing security in our various countries.
In Abuja, Leah Katung-Babatunde, NTA News.
Another news, Nigeria has joined the Global Best Practice Association of Autotronics and Sensory System in diagnosis and maintenance of automobiles with the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, working to expand the scope of application. Awal Salisu reports on the training and empowerment of 100 automobile mechanics in Kano on the new trend in automobile maintenance.
Ingenuity and creativity prowess of Nigerians are great development assets manifested by their capacity to observe, operationalize structure and build up automobiles, especially through backward integration technique. These innovative capacities have over the years provided employment to many. Ilyasu Sabitu Adam is one of the 100 people selected from those who are earning living as motor mechanics but in need of this advanced training to qualify for repairing modern vehicles and enhance efficiency.
A work that can take you 2 hours, you can simply make it for a long of 30 minutes by using this computer that they are given after finishing this program.
They were equipped with advanced troubleshooting tools and complete occupational resources required to repair any automobile that employs sensory and autotronic applications.
Already practicing mechanics, but require technical know-how to be able to attend to the modern vehicles and vehicles even of tomorrow.
So the training is to inculcate or to give knowledge to our teaming youth, the participant from Kano State, to acquire knowledge on how to diagnose using computer systems.
They can be self-reliant, they can serve themselves, they can serve the state and the nation at large.
Elias and other trainees are expected to equally train others in their respective places. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service says it is taking seriously the business of revenue generation, and to this end, the service has gone public with a service charter that promises effective service delivery to its customers, the taxpayer. This was part of activities marking the Global Customer Service Week in Abuja. Benny Adams has the details.
Every customer has needs to be met, and the service provider is expected to deliver value for money while treating the customer as the king that he or she is. Hence the establishment of a charter. The charter is a document that communicates and expresses commitment for quality service delivery, and the champion of customer service, Mohammed Nami, says whatever the FIRS customer enjoys today, it is just the beginning, as the FIRS is committed to implementing its details for better service delivery. He appeals to Nigerians to continue to fulfill their obligations by paying their taxes.
Globally, citizens pay for their own civilization. As most infrastructures, privileges in advanced countries were made possible by the revenue generated through the taxes citizens in those globally developed countries pay to the government. Above all, we appeal to government at all levels to also give taxpayers value for the money they pay as taxes.
For the country's #1 customer care officer, the FIRS is doing well, but the taxpayer has the obligation to make the FIRS do better.
Right from your office to all other executive management staff, you're committed to ensuring that you make Nigerians get value for money.
The FIRS hopes to meet and surpass a target of 10.4 trillion naira as collectible revenue at the end of the year. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
I have Benny Adams live with me in the studio here to give us more business news. Benny.
Thank you, Yeri, and welcome to business. We start by telling you that Nigeria's Bank of Industry tells investors in New York to come to Nigeria and invest, saying amid more than 20% inflation rate, the bank is able to grant loans at about 8 to 10% interest rate with a tenor spanning 8 to 10 years.
Because one, we're able to get interest rate that is below inflation. Technically, it's a subsidy. Secondly, you don't have rates being changed every year. So if you're paying so much for power, but finance is subsidized, it helps your business. We as a bank, we have gone out in the last 4 years raising more money to help Nigerian enterprises. In the last 4 years, Bank of Industry has raised about $5 billion. And we're still raising money.
And taking a look at the markets, at the end of trading today, a total of 173.4 million shares in 4,926 deals, corresponding to a market value of 2.3 billion naira, were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, Friday, data shows 51% decline in volume, 36% in turnover, with 49% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 26.4 trillion naira. Guarantee Trust Holding recorded the highest volume of 71.2 million traded shares, followed by Zenith Bank 14.4 million and United Bank for Africa 10.7 million. Well, that is a business news. Network news continues after this break. Don't go away.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Sunusi Musa, a youth activist who just got elevated to the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN, saying that his accomplishment will inspire the nation's youth. In a statement, President Buhari says Sunusi, who led hundreds of young men and women under the aegis of Nigeria Consolidation Ambassadors Network to raise 50 million naira to procure the nomination form for President Muhammadu Buhari's run for office on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in 1999, is among the recent batch of SANs approved by the Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee. He described the conferment of this SAN on Sunusi as a big honor and a matter of pride for him and the nation's youths, who look at emerging leaders with hope. Let's have a bit of sports now.
Nigeria's under-19 male cricket national team ended its group game on a winning note at the ongoing ICC World Cup qualifiers Tuesday at the expense of their counterparts from Sierra Leone. The Nigerian side won by 11 runs. In football, the Super Falcons of Nigeria continue a build-up ahead of the October 6 international friendly match against 2011 world champions Japan. The Falcons will be flying one of Africa's flags at the 2023 World Cup to be co-hosted by New Zealand and Australia, and the team is leaving no stone unturned to ensure good outing at the World Cup finals.
I can't say this is not my time, but when my time comes to play in every match, so I'll put in everything I have.
From the UEFA Champions League, it's match day 3 tonight, and on Wednesday, Chelsea with a point from 2 matches will fight to leave the bottom of the table with a date against Group E table toppers AC Milan with 4 points, while Real Madrid with 6 points in Group F will be on duty against Shakhtar Donetsk, eyeing the first position with 4 points. Group D table toppers Manchester City with 6 points must not lose against Copenhagen to remain on top, as second placed Borussia Dortmund with 3 points is set to feast on Sevilla with just a point at the bottom of the table, among other matches. In boxing, Nigeria's super featherweight boxing sensation Ridwan Scorpion Oyekola has recorded another victory in Japan.
We actually had a standing ovation after the fight. There's a lot that Ridwan's going to offer Nigeria. Very soon he's going to win WBC and other international title belt for Nigeria. Nigeria should support this young man.
He defeated his Japanese opponent from Kunga Ikaru through unanimous decision with 77-75, 78-75 and 78-75 points. With sports update, Olumide Kuntola, NTA News.
And with sports done, we're done with the network news tonight. Many thanks for watching, and here's a quick reminder that the fight against rape and rapists is still on. Be a star and join the fight. I'm Ian Ray John. Have a good